Test 1, 2.
Shabbat Shalom. It is so wonderful to It has been written completely by our students. They also have chosen the music that we will be praying with this evening. And I invite you, those who are joining us online, we've put a copy of that service on our United Hebrew website so that you can follow along and also read their beautiful written pieces. And it is an honor right now to invite forward Felicia Malter and Amy Bender-Levy to lead us in our candle blessing.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. I know.
And we rise now for Kiddush. At home, if you have your wine glass, please take up your cup of wine, and we'll take up our pretend cup of wine.
It's our stealth cup.
Exactly.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodesho b'yavav ratzon inchilanu zikaro lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techiro nekro kodesh zecher letziot mitzrayim kivanu v'korta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinechaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh HaShabbat.
The life. You may be seated, and it is an honor now for us to welcome our confirmation class of 2021 and 5781.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to the confirmation service of 2021-5781. Throughout our year in confirmation, we studied a variety of topics and talked about how Judaism, Jewish knowledge, and being Jewish plays a part in our daily lives, from shaping our opinions to how we look at the world. Tonight we celebrate the Torah that we have learned over the past 11 or so years, and share with you some of the things that we have come to believe and affirm about Judaism and being Jewish. When I was little, I knew I was Jewish, and I knew that I celebrated Hanukkah instead of Christmas. We also looked for matzah, not eggs. It was things like this that made me wonder why I am Jewish and what it means to be Jewish. When I first started in religious school at UH, this is when those questions began to get answered. I learned what it means to be Jewish, and in the end, why I choose to be Jewish. I can tell you I do not choose to be Jewish because of the food we eat during Passover. I choose to be Jewish because of the environment I surround myself with, and lots of my closest friends happen to be Jewish. I enjoy singing the prayers around the Shabbat and Hanukkah candles, and I will continue to do so. I love celebrating holidays and being able to recite the prayers I remember learning years ago. I take pride in my Judaism. I want to visit Israel again. A few years ago, I got the opportunity to experience Israel, and it was amazing. I got to do everything you can think of, and it was a great experience. Without being Jewish, I may never have taken that trip where I made amazing memories and got to do such fun things. All these things are why I take pride in my Judaism.
Being Jewish means having a community. No matter where I go in life, I know my family's falling right behind me. When I go to school, camp, BBYO, and temple, I feel like I'm a part of something so much bigger than myself. I'm comfortable enough to be my full self without feeling judged. Being Jewish doesn't just mean having a community, it means feeling better about yourself, trusting others, having lifelong friends, sharing memories, and much more. One of the times where I felt the most Jewish was at my bat mitzvah. Reading from the Torah connected me to Judaism on a much deeper level. I'm so thankful for all the opportunities I have gotten from being Jewish, because without them, I wouldn't be the same. For all these reasons, I'm so proud to call myself a Jew.
At this point in my life, I confirm the following about being Jewish. Being Jewish is important to me because of my family and traditions. Every Friday night, my family gets together at my grandparents' house to celebrate Shabbat. This is important to me because it's been going on for 4 generations now, and it's a good time for me to enjoy my family's presence while also embracing my Jewish heritage.
Currently in my life, I confirm the following about being Jewish. Being Jewish means many different things to me, but most of all, it gives me a sense of community. I feel that community when we light the candles for Shabbat or when we get together with family for the Jewish holidays. I felt that community when we went to Israel and experienced the culture and learned more about how people feel connected to being Jewish in a lot of different ways. And I feel a connection to the Jews across history who have passed down their traditions and knowledge from generation to generation. This is why I feel it is important to continue to learn from others, to celebrate what it means to be Jewish, so that I can share this sense of community with future generations.
Please stand as we engage in the call to worship, the Baruch Hu, which is found on page 5.
Baruch Hu et Adonai, HaMevorach.
day. Day turns to night. And at the bottom of the page, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Please be seated.
Join us on page 6, chanting Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha vishinantam levanecha v'dibartam bam v'shiftecha b'vitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uvshokbeha uvkumecha uvshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beinenecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tiskeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'dizkem kiddushim leloechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim leot lahem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
I am Jewish, and at times Jewish is a scary thing to be. A part of myself I may choose to hide for my own safety or just because I don't care to explain it. Because being Jewish is something that is difficult to explain, there is the literal take that I was born into a Jewish family and became bat mitzvah. But to me, being Jewish is more than the literal. Being Jewish to me is the pride I feel when I find out somebody I admire is Jewish as well. Being Jewish for me is having an, albeit small, community of people who can relate to my experience. Being Jewish is not one thing that I can pinpoint and share in one paragraph. Because being Jewish is part of who I am, and I am eternally grateful that I can say that I am Jewish.
To me, being Jewish is showing off Hebrew letters to my friends. It's going to Camp Sabra and gathering around the campfire to sing songs. It's going to religious school for the past 11 years and being a madrahim for the past 4. It's teaching my kindergarten class how a yarmulke stays on someone's head, and one day going to Israel because it's my birthright. Being Jewish isn't just something I was born into. It's something I learned about and chose for myself.
At this point in my life, I affirm the following, that going to Camp Sabra has meant a lot to me in terms of being Jewish. Having Shabbat at Sabra with my friends and siblings has been important to me because it is a different environment. When I am at Sabra, I feel like I really belong because I am around other Jewish people my age, and it feels like my second home. Having services at Sabra is different than having services in St. Louis. At camp, I have my arms around my friends, and we sing along with a different feeling than St. Louis. At dinner, we say the Hamotzi before eating every meal, and being around other Jewish people at camp makes me feel more Jewish every day. I play Gaga, which is a Jewish sport. When we dance to Jewish songs after Shabbat, it makes me feel more connected to Judaism.
At this time in my life, I affirm the following. The traditions of Judaism will always play a significant role in my life. Every Pesach, I always eagerly look forward to searching for the afikomen with my cousins, shopping for the Seder with my grandmother, and enjoying platefuls of haroshis served with matzah. These customs that my family have practiced for decades, along newly formed traditions, have helped me to establish my Jewish identity and ultimately shape me into the individual I am today. Additionally, attending Friday night services as well as religious school for the past several years has helped me to foster a strong personal relationship with God. Along with these traditions that I've grown up loving, Judaism has also afforded me with many new experiences. From volunteering as a camp counselor at the Saul Spielberg Early Childhood Center to running for the STL Jewish Light Team page or Chadash, Judaism has helped me to discover my passions. By following in the footsteps of my ancestors and becoming bat mitzvah at 13, I was able to carry on a sacred tradition and deepen my true understanding of Judaism. And today, I hope to further strengthen and ultimately confirm my Jewish identity as a fourth-generation confirmand at United Hebrew.
Being Jewish to me means spending my summers at Gucci and my school years at United Hebrew. I've been going to UH my whole life, starting with baby classes before I can even remember. United Hebrew is one of my favorite places to be, whether I'm here for Nifty or even religious school. Along with UH, my summer home away from home, Gucci is the place where I truly discovered what Judaism means to me. When I went for the first time when I was 8, I only knew the Rosenbergs. I could not have imagined the impact it would make on me and the person I am today. Being Jewish to me means more than just what the Torah says or what rabbis say. To me, it's the values I hold, the communities I'm a part of, and the person who I am. While I may not light a candle every Friday night or say the Hamotzi before every meal, my Judaism still impacts my everyday life with the way that I think through the values that have been passed down to me from generation to generation, Lidor Vador. My Judaism is a huge part of who I am today, and it will continue to be throughout the rest of my life.
At this time in my life, I confirm some things about my being Jewish, which is very important to me. For me, my identity expands outward from me, to family, community, and caring for others on the earth. The most important aspect of my identity is through my family, and I wouldn't be the me I am today without them. My parents have been important to me, as most of my Jewish identity was built through them. This is normal and the way it should be, so I guess the important thing is that I recognize it. Without their guidance and crazy seders at Pesach, where they really tried to relive the Exodus, I just wouldn't be the me I am today. Pesach is my favorite holiday because of the way my family retells the story, and I feel very connected to it and my identity. Being with them at such special times helps ground me as a Jew, as does trying to perfect challah and other recipes. Food, yeah. Very important. Beyond my family, I think of the community, which for me at 16 is Nifty and going to Camp Sabra. They give me a strong sense of Jewish community, and I recognize how important they are to me. Expanding out further, I like the concept of tzedakah and giving for causes, and I like that it can be done anonymously. Some causes are local, but others reach out and help the greater community and even non-Jewish communities in the world. Caring for others on the earth is very important to me, and I am especially connected to recycling and to help care for the earth.
At this point in my life, I affirm the following. I began at United Hebrew when I was around 4 years old for preschool. Now, 12 years later, I can look back upon my experiences here and use them to confirm my present and future Jewish identity. One of the things I love about United Hebrew is that it gives me a place to think, somewhere that's free of the distractions and stress of outside life, a place to discuss, a place to share, to make latkes on Hanukkah, and to dress up on Purim. And while it's certainly not always calm, which any madrachim will tell you, those kids can have a lot of energy sometimes, I do know that I will always be welcomed. This is like something I have especially come to appreciate this year in a world that is filled with so much uncertainty. I'd like to focus on this year specifically because it is so strange and different from any other of my years here at United Hebrew and any other confirmation class. During the pandemic with COVID-19, it has helped me identify my favorite part about Judaism, which is the community. I realized how much I missed being here in the classroom as a madrich, a counselor at Camp Emeth, and meeting my family over the holidays. But our resilience through this pandemic has been amazing, using Zoom during Passover Seder to celebrate with others, participating in the Drive-By Purim Carnival. Through Judaism, I've been able to connect with lots of incredible people who have taught me so much, helping me develop the values I have today. And for this, I would like to thank you all for being here, being a part of the United Hebrew community and the Jewish community. It is a community that I look forward to continuing being a part of.
At this point in my life, I confirm the following about my being Jewish. Being Jewish for me is not just a religion or set of rules. It's what makes us unique and different from everyone else. I feel most Jewish when I'm at camp or in Israel. Camp is a very special, meaningful experience for me because I get to surround myself with other Jewish teens my age and observe Jewish traditions such as Tefillah, Birkat Hamazon, and Shabbat. Camp is a place that allows me to have fun and be myself while also practicing Judaism. In addition to camp, I've been fortunate enough to visit Israel several times and feel an incredible connection there. In Israel, I feel like I'm part of a community and we're all connected because everyone's Jewish. And everyone observes the holidays and different Jewish traditions. Being Jewish is an important part of my life because it guides me to make the right decisions. Judaism may just be a set of rules to some people, but for me, it's a great model for living a meaningful life.
When I first sat down to start writing my statement of confirmation, I had zero idea of what I was going to write. I didn't want to do something super serious and philosophical because, well, I'm not a Talmudic scholar or a rabbi. I'm a sophomore in high school, and I don't write that way. Heck, outside of my English class, I rarely even think that way. Then I remembered a video that we had watched in confirmation one day, the second video of two, and a line from it kept rattling around in my brain, and I couldn't quite shake it. It talked about our connection as Jews with every other Jew in the world, and I realized that's what I wanted to confirm today. Not just that I'm Jewish because my parents and grandparents and great-grandparents were, or because I fast on Yom Kippur or attend services on High Holy Days, but because every time I see a Jewish actor or author or entrepreneur succeed, I'm as happy for them as if I knew them personally. Because every time I see a terror attack or hate speech or even a Jewish criminal or hypocrite, it hurts as much as if they were my sibling, parent, or friend. I confirm today that I am connected to 6,000 years of history, that I love that connection and want to keep it going into the next generation, L'Dor Vador. And Adonai, I hope that what I have is enough for you, because I took myself out of the box, and I hope that you will say yes to me.
And we take a moment of pause as we've heard, and we have more students to hear from, but hearing tonight especially with what is going on in our world, what is going on in Israel, which affects the whole of the worldwide Jewish community. We pause and we take a breath, because this Shabbat, and Shabbat is our moment to just breathe, to just be as Jews. And we say, just as Celia just said, God, we hope that's enough. We are offering ourselves to you tonight on Shabbat and hope it's enough. And so we pause, we breathe, and we get ready for the Amidah.
Thought has blown the marketplace away. There's a song on the wind and there's joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived gathering a song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day.
Ata Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Hasei Avot V'Imahot Umevi Geula Livnei B'neihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah.
Page 10, please, at the top of the page.
Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayeh HaKol Atah Le'Choshia Mechachel Chaim Bechesed Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Ve'oved Holim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunatahu Lishenei Afar Mi Chamocha Ba'al Gevurot Umidom Elah Melech Mimit Umechayeh Umatzmian Yeshua V'ne'eman Atah Lechayot HaKol Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayeh HaKol Kadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh U'Kedoshim b'Chol Yom Yachalu Chasela Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
You may be seated.
I am Jewish, which means I am given opportunities where I can meet new individuals, dig deeper into my religion, and create incredible memories, something BBYO has given to me. I was fortunate enough to have an older sister who acquainted me to the world of BBYO. She had been going for a long time and always talked about how much fun it was, yet I never thought it was for me, until she forced me to come to a meeting with her. After arriving, I immediately had 3 new friends and had so much fun. After that night, I knew I felt a connection to the environment of my soon-to-be chapter. I knew I wanted it to be a part of my life forever. With my sister going to college, along with older members moving past us, we needed to create a new, stable board for our chapter to keep everyone involved and to help keep us bonded. Our main goal was to project a welcoming and inclusive community, so I decided to step up with a friend and run for our chapter's president. We decided to split the responsibilities in half to make our work more organized and efficient. By communicating with other board members, working together, and planning fun and exciting programs, my co and I were able to achieve that goal. From playing this huge role as a leader and example for others, I have acquired numerous leadership skills, critical thinking strategies, and most importantly, I have felt what it is like to be a part of something in our Jewish community.
Oh my God. Being Jewish means that I am responsible for keeping Judaism alive for the next generation. This means I will raise my children to attend religious school and have their own B'nai Mitzvah. I spent years preparing for my bat mitzvah, and even though it was a lot of work, I was proud to be able to stand in front of my friends, family, and congregation and present all that I learned. One of my favorite memories was when Rabbi Rosenberg tried to get me to relax by playing my favorite song and having a dance party in her office right before going onto the bima. Some of my favorite things about being Jewish are doing events as Nifty, celebrating the holidays with my family, eating Jewish food, and so much more. Participating in Nifty has shown me what real friendships look like. I have been participating in Nifty for 5 years and enjoy every minute of it. Traveling to Colorado was amazing, and riding the race cars in Indiana with Rabbi Bellows, Lee, and my friends still makes me laugh. When my family and I celebrate the holidays every year together, we end up having my aunts, uncles, and cousins over to celebrate with us. It is a fun family event with games and laughter that I enjoy. When eating Jewish foods like on Passover, my favorites are eating the matzah, haroset, and even gefilte fish. These are my three most favorite Jewish foods. As I become confirmed and move on in my Jewish learning, I hope to continue my family traditions by caring for others, celebrating holidays, and giving my children a Jewish education.
All right, here we go. I am Jewish first by heritage. I come from a family where Judaism stretches back many generations. I am fifth generation United Hebrew through my father's family. 2 of these generations are captured in confirmation photos among the many pictures on the confirmation wall, of which I am soon to join. The other 2 generations can be found on the Yizkor wall. I am a descendant of Holocaust survivors who moved here after laboring in work camps in Europe. My middle name, Samuel, as well as my mezuzah necklace, are gifts given to me from my maternal great-grandfather, Samuel Lewin, an aforementioned survivor, and I wear both of them with honor and dignity as I stand here today. I also wear my paternal grandpa's ring with the words Lador Vador, from generation to generation, engraved on it in Hebrew. I am Jewish second by being a part of and carrying on family traditions. As I just implied, the phrase Lador Vador is very important to me. However, when it comes time to sing these words as a part of the Kiddushah, my family, primarily my brother, father, and me, the proclaimed children of the family, sing the words the door instead. This tradition started not as a mockery of Jewish prayer, but as a father trying to make services a little more bearable for his 8 and 10-year-old sons, and has now become a lighthearted tradition we look forward to every time we are in services. I plan to pass this tradition on to my kids one day. This is just one of the many examples of Jewish traditions in my family. Some others include saying Yerishmo instead of Ushamo during the Aleinu, singing along to the animatronic Matzah Man during Passover Seders, baking weird and crazy challahs with my weird and crazy Dodah, on all 8 nights opening Hanukkah envelopes from my Mimi, each one containing between $1 to $8 and a bit of chocolate gelt, and ending up with $36 at the end. Eating half-sour pickles, challah, and halava at the local Jewish-style deli. Leaving untraditional visitation gravestones, usually objects that coincide with a beloved hobby of a grandparent, like birdseed and fishing bobbers, at their graves every time we visit them. And eating my papa's famous apricot kugel during the high holidays with family and friends. These are the things that helped to and continue to shape my Jewish identity. There's still like 2 more of these. I am Jewish third by feeling a part of a collective identity. I, just like most of my Jewish peers, am drawn to Israel like a moth to a flame. I feel that, as a part of my belonging to Judaism, I need to go to Israel. I feel that I owe it to myself to go there, that I owe it to my mom and my nana and papa who have never been. Even more so to Sam and Toba Lewin, my maternal great-grandparents, the very people who persevered through tragedy and torture to be Jewish, and to all the others who did the same. It was always their dream to be part of Israel because it was our promised land as Jews, and I want to live out that dream for them. I also feel that I need to keep my ancestors' language, Yiddish, alive. It feels more to me like a language between friends, Jewish friends, a language that we share because we are Jewish. In addition to our land and our languages, there are other pieces of culture that are embedded in our kishkes, in our core. For example, movies that have Jewish stories like Fiddler on the Roof and the 10 Commandments, Jewish foods, and favoring Jewish celebrities and sports heroes like Adam Sandler and Sandy Koufax. As a Jew, having a community that I can share these unique identifiers with makes me feel connected. I am Jewish fourth by an important Jewish value, standing up for others. I try my best, through literature and movies, to immerse myself in the experiences of the victims of the Holocaust and the righteous Gentiles who worked to save so many. I have learned it is incredibly important to understand the struggles and pain they all endured so that I can carry on their stories and keep it happening again to anyone. One example of this is my determination and commitment to be an ally for my friends and classmates. My group of friends is incredibly diverse. During times of overt racism and implied racial intolerance, I use my voice to advocate for myself and my friends, even at the slightest hint of unjust circumstances. My compassion and motivation to learn about all perspectives are not just about systemic racial oppression. I have high compassion for people with disabilities as well. My own experiences with a disability, learning differently, and with a diagnosis of ADHD, as well as experiences of friends and family members with disabilities, have increased my awareness and helps me better understand others. This desire to look through other people's lenses has led me to strive to understand the viewpoints of people whose political and social justice views strongly differ from my own. It has also helped me develop a strong belief that people are entitled to their opinions, and that even though you or I might not agree with them, we have to respect that. I found myself encouraging my friends to stop attacking each other's different views and stop and listen. This past fall, I attended an online webinar given by a national civil rights and social justice teen educator, that's a mouthful, where he spoke about the need for us to lean into difficult conversations and attempt to find humanity under the opinions we may not agree with. This summer, I will join him on a 36-day cross-country Jewish teen journey where I will continue to explore these ideas. I am Jewish fifth by partaking in Jewish experiences. I spent my early years at the UH preschool and earned the Maccabee Scouting Award in elementary school. I've become a bar mitzvah, marking that milestone on the bima over there. Where was I? Oh yeah, skipping school, that's fun. I've skipped school to go to prayer on the high holidays and participate in Jewish youth group conventions. I've stayed up late listening to the beautiful melodies and harmonies of Kol Nidre and sung with Shir Atid. I've been to Jewish summer camps like Ramot Amunah and Sabra, and as I just shared, we'll be spending my summer exploring historical, political, and social justice issues through a Jewish lens. I've spent many Tuesday nights at BBYO meetings and many Sundays here at UH. I've spent my life living in an enriched Jewish experience, and I'm not done yet. I have many more Jewish experiences I hope to partake in. I hope one day to pass all my experiences, my values, my family traditions, my heritage, and my sense of belonging to this collective identity onto my children so that they may do the same with theirs. To pass Judaism from my generation to their generation. Lador Vador.
Our thoughts now turn to those who are in need of healing in our community, those in need of healing of mind, of body, or of spirit. And those people who are here get to do something that people have done at home for a while now, that I'll ask that if you have the name of somebody you'd like to share with the community, or just say the name of somebody out loud who you'd like to think about this evening, I invite you, if you are able to and if you would like to, either at home or here tonight, to rise and to say either that person's name aloud, to kind of put their name out into the universe, or if you'd like to keep their names in your hearts and in your minds. I invite you to do so at this time. May all those who we've shared this evening, either aloud or those people that we're keeping in our hearts and our minds, may they have a speedy recovery and a full recovery, a refuah shlema. As we join in together at the bottom of page 12 with Mishaberach Lecholim, a song for healing of those in need of it.
Avotenu
ata Adonai rofeh hacholim. Blessed are you, God, who heals the sick. And together we all say, Amen. Amen. We're now going to take a moment for some silent prayer, and I'm going to invite everyone during their silent meditation to please read the words at the top of page 13 by Abby Holt, who was not able to be here this evening.
Shalom Aleinu al kol Yisrael al kol yoshvei Shalom
And before we continue with our confirmation service, just a couple of announcements for Shabbat. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. will be our Torah study, which is still happening on Zoom, and you can find that link on our United Hebrew website. 10:30 a.m. tomorrow morning will be our Shabbat morning service. And I want to invite everybody to join us via live stream. It is going to be a very special service. Donna Koren, our Shinshinit, our Israeli young woman who's been with us this year, she is going to read Torah tomorrow morning. And you may be thinking, okay, she's reading Torah. She's never read Torah before. In Israel, when you grow up either in a traditional or even a secular family, for girls, not such a big deal that you get trained to read Torah. And when she came, she asked if she could have an aliyah la Torah, an aliyah to the Torah. So tomorrow morning, she is going to be reading Torah for the first time. And just because Hebrew is her native language does not mean that it was so easy to learn to read from the Torah. She too had to practice just like all of you did. It was a little bit easier, but she still had to practice. So we invite everybody to join us. It's going to be a beautiful celebration. She is going to be singing tomorrow as well, and we're sort of seeing it as an uplift service as we also celebrate Israel tomorrow morning. And tomorrow at noon-ish, the beginning of our tzedek days of doing mitzvah and helping to make our world a better place. And then at 6 p.m., join us for our Next Week Now Havdalah program. And at noon on Sunday at Queenie Park, please join us for our annual Shavuot Outdoors hike. And actually, we're combining that with our Shavuot Scoop. I hear there may be a sweet ice cream treat that is there, so we hope that you join us. And then on Sunday evening, beginning at 5:30, we are joining in a Tikkun Leil Shavuot with congregations up and down the East Coast, and we are sliding in there as the easternmost coast of the west side of the Mississippi, just for a little fun. So we hope that you will join in with us, and Monday morning is Shavuot, and a Shavuot experience will be on our website at 9 a.m. So now we have this moment of confirmation. Actually, this whole evening has been about confirmation because nobody's actually confirming you because you've already confirmed yourselves or affirmed for yourselves what all of this means tonight. In just a moment, I'm going to call up 3 of your parents representing all of the parents. But I just want to share a few words. So yesterday, I was on Twitter, which right now is not a great place to be if you're Jewish. However, a colleague of mine, a rabbi, wrote about his experience growing up as a Reformed Jew, and then wrote about his experience when he went to Israel for the very first time, which was actually when he started rabbinical school. He grew up in the Midwest, much like you guys, although he grew up in a much smaller Jewish community in Indiana, not this booming metropolis of St. Louis. And one of the things that he talked about were all of the things that he realized that he never learned about being Jewish. That there was this vast array of things that he never learned. And that initially he was so angry, and then he stopped to realize that in his community, in his Reform congregation, in the hour or so a week of religious school and youth group or whatever that he went to, there wasn't a possible way to learn Talmud, to learn everything that there is to know about Judaism. But he came to appreciate that what he received was this sense of identity that was wrapped up in a people that came through his small Reform congregation in Indiana. And listening to all of you tonight, you guys are the ones who are still here. And I know that we jokingly said lots of times on Sunday mornings that so many of you are here because these people out here made you be here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for fighting the good fight, because I get it and I understand it. I've had to fight the good fight as well with my own kids. But all of you, by insisting that they be here, you said to them, and you have taught them and said, this is important. This is important to our family. This is important to our people. And you need to be here. And you need to learn. And it is so clear from what each of you affirmed tonight in your writings. It is so clear from this year. And as Brandon said in what he wrote about, this was not an easy year. This was not an easy year for any of us. But you guys prevailed. We were half online and we were half in person. Somehow, we made it work. I want to say to you that this year, we had some of the best conversations, some of the richest conversations that I think I've had with a confirmation class, because you were willing to dive in and to talk. Sometimes you were shy, but once somebody jumped in, or once I called on you and made you speak, you jumped in and you shared yourselves. And sometimes, I even know when other people would walk by, sometimes a gem of what someone said, someone would say, wow, I didn't expect that comment. That was amazing. What were you all talking about? So I want to say thank you. Thank you to each of you. And as even Evan said, this is not the end. There is so much more out there for you to learn about Judaism and for you to learn about being Jewish. This is just a moment, a pause along the way, and you've learned a lot of things about being Jewish, but there's so much more. And even if and when you step onto a college campus or you go to Israel or you go somewhere and you say, why didn't I know that? Because so often we do experience those moments. I can remember them stepping into college. You just keep moving forward and you look at what you came from and you say, this is where my identity began and this is important and I'm moving forward. Tonight, when we bless you, we are going to bless you in the midst of the pages of a Torah scroll. We have sitting here for everybody who is joining us from home, this is our Czech Torah, our Holocaust scroll. Once a year, actually twice a year, we pull it out. Once every year when it is Yom HaShoah, it joins the other scrolls in our community who are survivors of the Holocaust. And we also, on one Friday, one Shabbat every May, we have it when we remember the community of Humana, Czechoslovakia. And so tonight, as we have this scroll here, it stands witness. It was present all those decades ago for those atrocities, and yet today it stands witness and will embrace all of you, recognizing that our people continues. Our people, in spite of everything, we are continuing to grow and that we are still here. So you, I hope, will feel its embrace. You will feel the generations of those Jews for whom this was their holy scroll. And now you carry it and them on your shoulders as you continue your journey as young Jewish adults. And as many of you heard 3 years ago from Cantor Eicher, as he always told you and tells everybody in one of your many sessions, you are it. You right now are the last link in the chain. It will end with you unless you decide that it continues. And our hope, our blessing, our prayer is that you will add to the links in this chain and to keep this tradition alive, to keep this faith and our people growing for generations to come. Thank you all for being you, and an early Mazal Tov on this moment in your life. And it is an honor now to invite forward Melanie Marks, Becky Faintich, and Bruce Weingart to offer a blessing on behalf of all of the parents of this confirmation class.
What I wish for you, I wish for all our children. I wish for you to be a person of character, strong but not tough, gentle but not weak. I wish for you to be righteous but not self-righteous, honest but not unforgiving.
Wherever your journey, may your steps be firm and may you walk in just paths and not be afraid. Whenever you speak, may your words be words of wisdom and friendship. May your hands build and your heart preserve what is good and beautiful in our world.
May the voices of the generations of our people move you, and may the God of our ancestors be your God as well. May you know that there is a people, a rich heritage, to which you belong, and from that sacred place you are connected to all who dwell on the earth. May the stories of our people be upon your heart, and the grace of the Torah rhythm dance in your soul. Amen.
Now I'm going to invite forward the parents from each family who've agreed to help hold the Torah scroll. And I'm going to invite forward also Phil Frischer, president of our congregation. And students, as some of your parents are coming forward, I want to say for all of you, after the service, you are going to be receiving a gift bag. In that gift bag, there are some gifts from our congregation. There is a Bible. There is a very special book of gratitude, especially coming off of this year. But the most special gift that is in that bag is a gift that your parents are giving to you. Your parents, your families have written ethical wills, letters to each of you to share with you just how important they feel Judaism is to them. So often I asked you to ask them what they think, ask them what they feel, and you will be receiving those letters tonight. And once the scroll is unrolled, then I will call each of our students, and you will come and stand in the middle of the scroll. Now that our scroll is unrolled, I'm going to call each student forward, and you will stand in the midst of the scroll, and then we are going to bestow a blessing. Brandon Charles Banashek. Catherine Jean Barbarash. Ryan Blinder. Phoebe Dubman. Evan S. Faintage. Allison Danielle Herman. Abigail Holt, who is unable to be here with us tonight. Allison Holly Hunt. Molly Alyssa Levine. Lucas Elliott Levy. Morgan Elise Lips. Joseph Gideon Laurie. Sarah Rose Malter. Madison Faye Marks. Tal Recht. Peyton Grace Shostak. Celia Rose Weingart. As you all, I want the class for a moment, I want you to turn and just see the words that are wrapped around you. I want you to feel embraced by these words and think of the generations who read these words and looked at these words before you. And now you stand embraced by your families here in this parking lot, outside of your beloved congregation. And it is an honor now for us to bestow words upon you, words of blessing, ancient words that are found in this scroll, words that mark this moment and words that we hope will carry you forward from this moment and into the future.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you all and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's presence shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Nice.
Adonai panav elecha.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Extra peace.
And may God's countenance be turned toward you. May the presence of God, whether you are sure that presence is there or not, may that presence of God surround each one of you. And may each of you find in your hearts the gift of wholeness and the gift of peace. And to that we all say, Amen. And as we roll up the scroll in a moment, we are going to join together in singing Shehechianu as we thank God for blessing us with life, for sustaining us, and for enabling all of us to be here together to mark this moment of confirmation. You can all turn around and smile at those who are at home while we sing Shehechianu.
as we finish putting away our Torah, we are on the last Shabbat of the Omer, this special mindful time between Passover and Shavuot. Shavuot starts Sunday evening, so this is our second to last day of the Omer that we get to count and we get to say a blessing. And so we're going to turn to the top of page 14, and I'll invite you to rise as we count this day. And you can join in together with the blessing, or you can say Amen at the end. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, b'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. Our praise to you, Adonai, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to count the Omer. Hayom shmona v'arba'im yom, shehem shisha shvuot, v'shisha yamim la'omer. Today is the 48th day, which is 6 weeks and 6 days of the Omer. And we will remain standing as we continue together with Aleinu L'Shabeach on page 14.
Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol, L'Tet Gedula Yotzer Bereshit, Shelo Asanu Kigoye Haratzot, Velo Samanu Kemishpechot Adama, Shelo Sabechelekenu Gahem, Vegor Aleinu Kechol Amonam, Va'anachenu Koreim, Umishtachavim, Umodim, Lifnei Melech Moche Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Please be seated. Our thoughts now turn to those who are no longer with us, those whose memories remain a blessing and a light for all. This Shabbat, our congregation's heartfelt condolences go out to the family of Eleanor Lois Heiligman. And this Shabbat, we're in the period of Shloshim for Saul Dinman, Joseph Elias, Philip Ellis, Jane Terry Kassoff, Jay Shukart, Ruth T. Solomon. And this Shabbat, we recall the yahrzeits of, and we lovingly remember, Hattie Abraham, Ravetta V. All, Michael Howard Barter, Lillian Berger, Fanny Bernhardt, Aaron Bernstein, Francis Frida Bly, Emmanuel A. Chakis, Marvin Cherry, Ruth E. Cohen, David Cohen, Bessie Kopman Cohen, the Jewish community of Humana, Czechoslovakia, Hyman Darish, Molly Davis, Samuel S. Dewaskin, Leonie L. Frankel, Ralph M. Friedman, Laura J. Friedman, Carol Sue Friedman, Joseph Giddon, Mark D. Goodman, Harold B. Greenberg, Sophia Greenblatt, Rose Marie Hyman, Leopold Isaac, Alvin W. Jacks, Sylvia Jacobs, Charles Kreiser, Alan Cray, Joseph Cusmer, Jacqueline S. Lees, Irving I. Lending, Wilma K. Martin, Beverly Schneider Malias, Louis P. Miller, Sanford G. Nathanson, Louis Neiman, Barbara Barnett Platzer, Eileen Pollock, Ruth Siegel Predigman, Israel Reifler, Ruby Sorenko, Bessie F. Safer, Charles Sanofsky, Florence Silberstein, Ben M. Silverstein, Janet Green Son, Carol Lloyd Spell, Frank Spielberg, Lily E. Strauss, Adolf Joseph Toffel, Leo Urbach, Joseph S. Weinberg, Anna J. Wolf, Maury Wolkowitz, Lillian Zabrak. Zichronam livracha, may their memories forever be a blessing. As together we turn in our booklets to page 15 and we rise together as one community and join in the words of Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Ba'alma di v'rach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chaye echon v'yom echon, Uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala ubizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yit hadar v'yit aleh v'yit halal Shemei Kudusha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechamata da'amiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru, amen. May the one who makes peace in the high heavens above send peace down here to us, to all of Israel and to all the world, and together we say, amen.
And as we've gathered tonight, not only to celebrate Shabbat, but to also celebrate the confirmation, the affirmation of these young people in our congregation. This has been a different year, which means that things that we've normally done or the way we've always done them, the customs, they might be changing. And it was fun as we talked about that with confirmation. The robes we needed to have for the pictures on the bima, but we weren't sure if we needed the robes for the service, but we kept them. You guys chose them. And one of the things that as we were putting the service together, I'm going to call you out, Tal, because Tal said, wait a minute, there's always a closing song. At my brother's confirmation, there was a closing song. And I said, you're right. The class always chooses a closing song. We don't know what to choose. But after their readings and going through all of them, I presented a song to them and said, what about this one? And they all liked it. They didn't like the performance of it, but they liked the song. I didn't perform it. I showed them a video. But they liked the song and the words. And so you heard in so many of their words tonight, L'dor Vador, from generation to generation. And I don't know about you, but I have hope tonight. I have hope for the future of our people because of you. You give me hope. You give us hope. And tonight, we join with you in singing these words, L'dor Vador. Join with us. Nobody wanted solo, so sing. Shalom. And Mazal Tov to our confirmation class. Shabbat Shalom.